I think the Western Conference is where we're going to disagree more.
Okay, so let me get mine first, the way we did for the East. Now, I will say this right off the bat. The LeBron injury, which I'll be honest, I thought it was AI created at first. I didn't believe he was actually going to be out 4 weeks. But I think that significantly changes where the Lakers end up in the West, and by virtue changing the middle order of the Western Conference, which is so deep. And you can make a case for about 12 teams. We got to narrow it down to 8.
I agree with you.
I said it the day the trade was made on game 7 day of the 2025 NBA Finals. I said this team is going to be the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. It's not going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's going to be Kevin Durant, Ahmed Thompson, Sengun, and those Houston Rockets led by Ime Udoka, who I know they just lost Fred VanVleet. Yes, that is a blow, but they still have Eason. They still have Reed Shepard, who I think is going to make a tremendous impact this year in year 2. I just look at this team. I look at the height. I look at the depth. I look at their forward play, which I think matters much more than guard play in the postseason. I think you need big players. And I think Kevin Durant, they're not going to ask him to be a leader. They're just going to ask him to go and score. I think Ahmed Thompson takes over the leadership role, and I love the makeup of this Houston Rockets team.
Okay, so I will tell you right off the bat, I actually have Oklahoma City repeating as the number 1 seed and Houston as the number 2 seed. I think that Fred VanVleet injury is huge for them.
That's fair. At number 2, a couple of years ago, I was completely in love with this team.
My God.
I thought we could have a dynasty on our hands. Well,
you know did what? Say this team could be a dynasty.
Well, you know what? They still have the best player in basketball by far.
He's the number 2 player.
No, he is the best basketball player in the world by far, and it's not even close at this point. He might care about horse racing more than basketball, but he is a phenomenon, and they have good bench now with the likes of Cam Johnson and Bruce Brown. I like what interim head coach Rick Adelman did at the end of last season. They went to 7 games against the eventual NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder with basically nobody else scoring but Jokic and occasionally Jamal Murray. Michael Porter is
their starting small forward, though, since they traded Michael Porter Jr.
It's going to be Cam Johnson. Michael Porter is completely gone, thank God, because he's unreliable for them. And I think this team makes a big push in the regular season. I'm taking the Denver Nuggets as the 2 seed.
You think Aaron Gordon can continue his heroics then?
Absolutely. Yes, I do. I love Aaron Gordon in his role there in Denver. At number 3, they are the champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who is not a knock against the Thunder. But I think kind of like the Celtics a year ago, you're going to see them lackadaisical run for the regular season. They're not going to have as much urgency. I just think Houston and Denver got better, and I don't think Oklahoma City necessarily got worse, but I don't think they got better either. And that to me is, I think the other 2 teams got better where they stayed pat. So
fair.
I think it is a clear, though, those are the top 3 seeds in the West. Then I think there is a gap.
The only thing I disagree with you about is Houston and Oklahoma City. I have the Thunder finishing again as the 1 seed, only because of the Fred VanVleet injury. Otherwise, I would have the Rockets, but again, I like Reed Shepard. I like Tari Eason. Durant's going to do what Durant does. You got Sengun. I like Ime Udoka. But you just saw how Houston ran offensively with VanVleet. And without him there and his perimeter shooting, I think that takes a big hit for the Rockets.
As my number 4 seed, this guy carried this team to the Western Conference Finals last year. He may have gotten exposed in that conference finals.
He most certainly did.
So we'll see. But I look at it and I go, I think you could throw 6 teams in, and I think Minnesota probably has the most depth out of all the teams that I'm mentioning. And I think they have the most playoff experience, and I trust them the most right now. So I'll take Ann and Minnesota as the 4th seed.
Okay.
At number 5, this team goes from not even making the play-in tournament last year to the number 5 seed in the Western Conference. They are now represented by somebody who reportedly has came into camp standing at 7 foot 7 inches tall.
Victor, that's how tall he is now. Good God.
That's what the reports are saying. Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs, who somehow he grew 2 inches this offseason. Don't ask me how, because I don't know how. But if that is true, then Victor Wembanyama may end up being the GOAT of basketball. Because I don't know who's going to stop the guy who's got point guard handles and he can be 7'7". I think this team has such new light after finally not having Greg Popovich on the sideline. No disrespect to Greg Popovich, but I think a lot like we're seeing with Bill Belichick right now in football, I think Popovich was like that in basketball with San Antonio. And they got the young kids coming up. You know, they got Stephon Castle as well as the draft picks they made. This is a team who, again, they could take a big swing. I was advocating in the offseason, give up all your assets, give up Dylan Harper, give up whoever, and go get Giannis Antetokounmpo. We'll see if they do that. But for right now, I have them as the 5 seed in the West.
Okay.
At number 6, this team, I would have them as the 4 seed if a certain number 23 was not going to miss the first month of the season, because I do think this team is very LeBron and Luka dependent. It's the Lakers. This team was not built for just LeBron to be on the court or just for Luka to be on the court. It's built for both. It's a bicycle built for 2. They provide most of the scoring, and I can't have them out of the playoffs because, in my opinion, they still have 2 of the 5 best players in the sport. So it's hard for me to keep them out of the playoffs in that scenario. I'm worried about the depth. I think JJ Redick will do a better job in year 2, but I don't think they're on the same level as your Houstons, your Denvers, or your Oklahoma Cities.
Okay.
At number 7, this team is going to struggle, I think, to start the season. But around the trade deadline, when they have a full slate of number 1 overall pick rookie Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, and the return of Kyrie Irving, I think this will be a very dangerous team down the stretch. I think they're going to have to make up too much ground. So I think they'll end up in the play-in tournament. But I'm taking the Dallas Mavericks, led by a man with a new contract in Jason Kidd.
As much as I love the Mavericks, I don't trust Kyrie Irving to stay healthy. I love Klay Thompson. He is one of my favorite players currently in the NBA, but his injuries have just deprived him of the great shooting, and he's not the same player on the defensive side anymore. So I do not have the Mavericks making the playoffs at all this season.
Okay. Now, as my 8th seed, it was very tricky because I had to think about who was going to get this spot, because there's like 4 teams that can get this spot.
I'm very curious to see if you have a certain beard and claw in this spot.
I was flirting with skinny Zion. Could the Pelicans maybe get back if Zion Williamson gets healthy? Then I thought, no, I don't trust it. I don't trust a certain claw. I don't know if he's going to play 20 games this year. So I'm not going to have the Clippers in there.
Even though they pushed the Nuggets to 7 games last season.
They did, but I don't know. Kawhi's got to stay healthy a full year. I think the Spurs and Dallas and Houston and Denver got all better, and I don't know where the Clippers got better. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
And so for me, this team is old. They had a dynasty at one point. I think you just got to put them in because of reputation. I'm just going to throw a dartboard and say Golden State finds a way to get in as the last seed in the West.
I mean, they still have Steph and Draymond. They Jimmy
Butler as well.
Yep.
But my question is like, is Jimmy going to get tired if this team starts losing in December and says, I want out of here?
And what's going to happen with Jonathan Kuminga?
Yeah. So, like, I think they're probably still a playoff team. I like them more than the Clippers. I think Clippers roster is probably better, but I don't trust Kawhi Leonard at all. Zero, period. He is now in Joel Embiid territory to me.
Okay, fair. So, like I said, I agree. I agree with you about the top 2 seeds. I just have them flipped. I have OKC number 1 and Houston 2, again, mostly because of the Fred VanVleet injury. But I think the Rockets still have enough firepower to be the number 2 seed. But again, I think the VanVleet injury comes back to bite them. At number 3, that's where you have Oklahoma City, but I've got the Denver Nuggets in this slot. So again, we agree on the top 3, just in a different order. Like in the Eastern Conference. My biggest question with them, though, is you have Jamal Murray, you have Jokic. I would take SGA over Jokic.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
You and I were having the same debate last year.
But by the way, I'm not taking SGA over Victor Wembanyama either. If I'm going to start my franchise right now, the first 2 players I'm taking is Jokic, and the second one is Wemby. Because I think size matters. I've seen guys with SGA's ability. I've seen Kobe. I've seen Michael Jordan. I've never seen Nikola Jokic, and I've never seen Victor Wembanyama in my life.
I would go probably SGA and then Wemby.
What's your hate against Jokic? What does Jokic not do? SGA is more of a scorer. Jokic could get a 40-point triple-double every night if he wanted to.
I don't have anything against Jokic. It's not that at all. I absolutely love Jokic. I would say the gap between those 3 is very small. I totally agree with that.
I think it's Jokic, and then I think there's a gap because of his passing. I think that's the difference. I've never seen a guy, he does what Luka Doncic does, and I said, I don't understand it because he can't jump. How does the man get 12, 13 rebounds a game and can't jump?
I don't know.
I've never seen anything like him. Do you remember that shot he made? I think it was game 1 of the second round to beat Oklahoma City, where he was about to travel and did that spin around and it banked off the backboard.
Yeah, I thought that was Aaron Gordon that won that game 1 against.
It was Aaron Gordon who won it, but Jokic hit that shot. Like, you can't do anything to defend that. I think you can defend SGA. SGA didn't even have that great of an NBA Finals. He got most of his points from the free throw line because he's a free throw merchant.
Oh my God! Here we go with that storyline.
Yeah, I mean, come on. The Jokic is getting hit 20 times like this, and they don't call a foul. All of a sudden, SGA comes down.
Oh my God!
I mean, it's for real. I mean, Jokic is getting the LeBron treatment, and SGA is getting like the Kobe treatment because Kobe did get a lot of those foul calls.
Yeah. But I think, in my opinion, the gap between SGA, Jokic, Wemby, if you want to throw Ant into the mix, I'll hear you on that one. But I think those 3, maybe those 4, are the clear-cut top 4 in the West, in my opinion, anyway.
Luka and Ant is close.
Okay.
Because Luka did make an NBA final with Dallas, and he did beat Ant in that series. That's where I think I know Ant outplayed LeBron and Luka this postseason. But I think if you add up everything, I think Luka is probably overall a better player than Ant, but I think it's really close.
Yes. I think the gap between the top players in the West and the top players in the East is bigger.
It's not even funny. That's why I think that's part of the reason why they don't want to go back to the East and West All-Star game, because it'd be a complete mismatch.
Yeah. And like Again, I have nothing against Jokic. I think for me, SGA's style appeals to me a little more.
See, as a small, it's weird because I'm a small guy. I'm not even 5'5", and I love watching big men.
But trust me, I love Jokic though. So for me, it's like it's that close between them. It's not like SGA blows Jokic away or anything. Like you remember last year how heated was the MVP conversation between them throughout the season, right?
It was close. I think you could have made an argument for Jokic. Obviously, SGA won it, which I said he deserved, by the way.
Yes.
So, all right, let's get back on track. Your number 4 seed in the West.
Okay, at number 4, I love the duo between Wemby and De'Aaron Fox.
Oh,
I got the San Antonio Spurs not even making the play-in tournament, jumping all the way up to the number 4 seed. And who are they going to face in the first round? Oh, just Ant Edwards, Julius Randle, and the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay, so we actually had this matchup. We just haven't flipped who's home and away.
Yes. I love San Antonio, and I think Minnesota's going to take a bit of a step back. And then at number 6, I did think about the Lakers like you. I can't put Dallas in there because of what I said earlier. Unlike you, I trust Kawhi to stay healthy. I have the Clippers as the number 6 seed. And then with the number 7 seed, even though LeBron's going to be out for the first 4 weeks, they still have Luka. I think Austin Reeves will figure it out and become hopefully that number 3 that the Lakers want him to be. I like what they did by bringing in DeAndre Ayton. That's the type of big man Luka likes to play with.
Forgot about that. They did bring in Ayton.
Okay. So I have the Lakers as the number 7 seed. With the number 8 seed, I did think about Memphis with John Morant and Jaren Jackson. But I'm going to surprise you with this one. Because I really like what they did by bringing in Ace Bailey and Walter Clayton. We'll see if Lowry Markkanen is there for the full season. And yes, they have our former point guard, Colin Sexton. It's those boys in Salt Lake City.
That's the biggest shock, I think, of our whole prediction segment. I did not expect Utah to go from basically one of the worst teams in the league last year to the playoffs. I could see it. I get where you're coming from. I just think the West is too stacked. Look, I can't put them ahead of Golden State or the Clippers for me.
It was between Utah and Golden State, but I just go with the youth of Utah. I think Golden State flames out a little bit this season.
Boy, what a storyline that would be. Because if you're right, Jimmy Butler, I don't think is going to be on the team at the trade deadline.
You very well could be right. Trust me, I love Steph Curry. You know, the way he can just pull up and shoot from anywhere once he crosses half court. And I still hate Draymond Green. That's why I call him Drama Queen. But they are basically like the NBA's version of a nursing home. Because you got Steph, you got Draymond, you got Jimmy Butler. They bring in Al Horford. I just don't know if they have the gas to do it again this season.
Yeah. Okay, so let me go for quickly my Western Conference bracket. So I'll have the Rockets and Kevin Durant take down his former team in Golden State pretty quickly in the first round. A rematch of last year's first round, but I think Kevin Durant makes the difference this time around. Cooper Flag will get his playoff experience, but Jokic has dominated Anthony Davis in the past. I think he does it again. Denver will dispatch of Dallas. I think in a match that we all wanted to see last year in the playoffs of Lakers Thunder, I think the Thunder's youth is just going to be too much for the Lakers. And then in that 4-5 matchup, I think the T-Wolves experience, Anthony Edwards has been a killer in the playoffs. I think, again, Wemby gets his feet wet in the playoffs, but they go down. So I do have the top 4 seeds in the West advancing, which would set up then in the second round, the T-Wolves taking on the Houston Rockets. And I do think, again, I think the Rockets have a little more depth. I know Anthony Edwards defeated Kevin Durant a couple of years ago when Durant was with Phoenix. I just think this Rockets height with Sengun and Easton and Jabari Smith is going to cause a lot of issues for that T-Wolves team. They have a lot of good defenders. And then I think, listen, they took them to 7 games last year with really nobody else producing for Denver. An NBA champion has not been back to the conference finals since the Warriors did it in 2019 after their 2018 championship. I think that streak continues. And I think the Western Conference Finals is, again, the top 2 seeds where Denver goes to Houston and taking on the number 2 seed in the East for me, the New York Knicks in the NBA Finals, will be the team of destiny. I thought from the time it was announced on June 23rd of this year that Kevin Durant was joining the Houston Rockets. I think this Rockets team, led by a former championship coach who got the Celtics to the finals in 2022, Ime Udoka, gets back there, and the Houston Rockets, the 1 seed, make it all the way to the NBA Finals.
Okay. So in my first round, I have Oklahoma City taking on Utah. I like Utah, but OKC is the defending champions. They will dispatch them. I'm going to say in a sweep. So in my 2-7 matchup, I believe I have Houston taking on
the Lakers. The Lakers.
Okay. We get another chapter in the LeBron Durant story. I think the Van Vliet injury does bite the Rockets. It pushes the series 2-7, but I think the Rockets are a little younger, and that allows them to win that series. 3-6.
Then your 3-6 will be Denver against the Clippers, same as it was a year ago.
Yes. But I don't think the Clippers push this series to a game 7 like they did last year. Even though I have questions about Cam Johnson being their starting small forward instead of Michael Porter Jr., because I like what MPJ did on the defensive side. I know you didn't love him on the offensive side, which is fair. But they bring back a lot of their pieces from that 2023 championship team, most notably Bruce Brown. And that's what allows Denver to get by in 6. And then in my 4-5 matchup, you have Minnesota being the home team. I've got San Antonio, and I know Ant is a killer in the playoffs. He's made it to the Western Conference Finals, I think, twice. Yeah,
2 years in a row.
Yep. But they will not make it out of the first round this time.
That's going to be a topic. If that happens, that will be a talking point. I will tell you that right now.
I've got the San Antonio Spurs advancing to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder in what will be a must-see showdown.
I agree with that.
I would love to see that matchup. I mean, you got probably Chet Holmgren against Wemby. I don't think they would put Isaiah Hartenstein on him. And then you got SGA against De'Aaron Fox. I love that matchup. That would be must-see TV. But Oklahoma City, being the championship team, I think they have a little bit more depth. I think Jalen Williams is actually the X factor in that matchup. San Antonio will push it to a game 7 because I think the Spurs can go into OKC and win one of the games on the road. And I think OKC can go into San Antonio and win a game on the road. That forces the series to a game 7. OKC wins it and goes to the Western Conference Finals. And then in my 2-3 matchup, Houston, Denver. And this is where I think the Fred VanVleet injury really bites Houston. Because I like Reed Shepherd, but when you're going against Jamal Murray, I'd much rather have Fred VanVleet. I know they have Kevin Durant. I know they have Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, Şengün, Amen Thompson. But when you're going against Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and the Nuggets, I think you need your full roster, and the loss of VanVleet catches up to them in this series. And you will get a rematch of last year's 7-game second-round series between the Nuggets and the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. And we haven't had a team go back to the NBA Finals, I believe, since Golden State did it.
That's what I mentioned. Yep, that's the last time was Golden State 2018 to 2019.
Okay. And I think I got Denver exacting revenge. As much as I would love to see a Cleveland-Oklahoma City NBA Finals, I think Jokic comes in. As much as I love SGA, we talked about it earlier, and we just had our little debate. I think Jokic and the depth of the Nuggets is able to overcome Oklahoma City this time around. I will take the Nuggets in 6, and it will be the number 1 seed the number 2 seed Cavaliers, going against the number 2 seed Nuggets in the NBA Finals.